Welcome to another stream. As the title says, Tech Graveyard. Devices we have lying around that we used to use. Sometimes these devices are just as good, work just as well, but we have either upgraded to the newer version or we are just not using them. Again, minus some of these devices that I have in front of me are devices that are still working, but they are more or less in my tech graveyard. So let's kind of take a look at the devices and talk about why I'm not using them as much or why I'm not using them at all. So as you can see, I have a lot of devices in front of me. Let me actually post this first so that I can get some persons. Also, if you're coming on the live, if you're just on the live, you can comment and I can bring the comment on screen so I can read it and let us have a discussion, because these lives, the reason why I'm doing it more as a live as opposed to just posting a video, I want it to be interactive. I want to be able to read your comments. I want to be able to talk to you, not just post a YouTube videos. I want my YouTube videos to be an interaction between me and you. That's the main reason why I'm doing these videos live as opposed to, just making a video and post it. So let's look at my tech graveyard. So as it is right now on the table, I have a Tascam, what is this? A Tascam DR70D. I have the Zoom H4N. I have a Shuttler Express. I have the Rode NTG2. I have a USB speaker right here. I have a tablet, a drawing tablet. I think is Ion or Oyon or something like that. It's a African name. I actually have a DJI. So you can see my DJI Mavic Pro. Yeah, my Mavic 2 Pro. I have a couple devices. Well, I have the Rode. What is this? The Rode Mic. Which one is this again? The Rode Video Mic Pro, and I also have a G604. So this is the mouse. This is the mouse that I'm currently using. Is the MX Master 3, but this was the mouse that I used before. Now that mouse is kind of in the graveyard. I still can use it, but it's more or less in the graveyard. And as I say, if you're online, if you're on the stream, if you're watching the stream, you can drop a comment. I'm currently not seeing how many persons are watching the screen, but if a person comment also, I'll see it on my screen over there when I take a glance, and then I can put the comment on the screen. So let's talk about why some of these devices are in the graveyard, and we'll start with the ones that are more or less in the graveyard. And this one, the Tascam. So this is the Tascam the Tascam DR70D. So one of the main reasons why this is in the graveyard, and as I said, it still can be used. It's an audio interface. You have readings on the side. You have 4 channels. You have 2 mics on the front. It still can be used. It's battery powered. This one was made because Tascam realized that more persons were using their DSLR, and they made it a slimmer profile, because when Tascam first made the DR something, they made it in a more boxier form factors. And persons were having issue with it because it was too big, and when you put it on your camera, it looked very bulky. Now, Tascam made this slimmer version to make it easier for you to put it on your tripod and put your camera on it and make it simple. I purchased this a couple of years back. One of my main reasons for sending this to the graveyard, and this is totally in the graveyard, is that this cannot be used as an audio interface. So you cannot connect this to your computer and then send audio through it. Because of that reason, this was sent to the graveyard very, very fast. And that's how we got to the the Zoom H4n. So this small recorder here, the Zoom H4n, if you know anything about recorders back then, especially recording audio, mobile audio or anything like this, the Zoom H4n was very, very, very popular, immensely popular. It battery powered, and one of the plus about the Zoom 4N is that it is also an audio interface. So you can plug the Zoom 4N straight into your computer and send audio signals through the Zoom 4N straight into your computer. So if you're doing such thing as live streaming or anything that you want the audio to get straight into your computer, you actually can do it. Even though it only allows you to plug in 2 external microphones, and it comes with it built-in microphone, this Zoom 4N was Zoom H4N was very useful, very, very useful for me when I was trying to do live streaming and stuff like that. Anything that I want to get the audio straight to the computer. For instance, you want to do a podcast and you want to send the audio straight into your computer, you can definitely use the Zoom H4N to get something like that done. This now, the Shuttle Express Pro. So this is a device that you can actually use while editing. So it's the Shuttle Express Pro. Let me actually zoom in so you can see it much better. Let's zoom out. So this is the Shuttle Express. They have a bigger one, which is a better, but especially like if you're doing editing, you can use the drag wheel, and you can use, so this can be used in Premiere Pro, After Effects, more like an editor type of vibes. Then you have these buttons for back and forth. So you can make this key almost any key that you want to make it, so to speak. It's USB, so you can just plug it in and use it. One of the main reasons why the Shuttle Express went to the graveyard is because I picked up the Stream Deck. So I have my Stream Deck right here off to the side. I don't know if you can see it. Let me zoom out. Yeah, my Stream Deck is right here. I don't know if you can see it. Oh, yeah, it's right here. So the Stream Deck now allows you to put input into a lot of these programs, like when I'm using Final Cut or I'm using any one of these software that I use. The Stream Deck allows me to do a lot of this stuff. Mine, it doesn't have the circular thing on the Stream Deck, like if you want to move on your timeline fast or drag and stuff like that. But the Stream Deck is much more intuitive. It's much easier to use, just to press a key and have certain things done, like you're doing cutting or you're doing anything. You can use the Shuttle Express to do stuff like that. But for me, the Stream Deck just has a lot more functionality, because I can in OBS, like I'm in now, switching cameras and all of that, and using the Stream Deck. And when I switch to Final Cut, the Stream Deck becomes something else. It shows me all of my Final Cut shortcuts and everything. I can easily cut. So I can be using this Stream Deck across multiple programs on my computer, and it's just much easier to use, much better. You can set up your Stream Deck to do almost anything, control the lights in your house, almost anything, once you understand how to do your Stream Deck. Now, this is a small USB speaker. This is a small Bluetooth speaker. It is more or less in the graveyard because I have gotten better Bluetooth speakers. I normally usually use this one in my bathroom, but I am not necessarily listening music in the bathroom anymore. And then I have a bigger speaker in front of my computer, and I have more audio interface and stuff like that. Oh, I never told you why the audio interface got put into the graveyard. So I currently have the Rodecaster Pro. And mind you, the Rodecaster Pro is not portable, but I have made a portable solution in terms of, like, if I'm traveling and I'm doing podcasts or anything like that, I have a suitcase that I put it in and put all my podcast gear, and now it's a suitcase that travels with me. If I'm looking for an ultra portable stuff, I might end up getting like one of those Rode pin-on mics that comes with the internal recording, so I can use something like that. But these two audio devices, they are in the graveyard because of that. Now, this tablet. So I don't quite remember why I have this tablet. I think at some point I was probably getting into one of those software that uses tablet like this. Maybe I was using it for Photoshop. I don't remember, because in my tenure, so to speak, as a creative, I've done many things. I've done photography, videography, animation, graphic design, live streaming. I've done a lot. Travel photography, travel videography. I've done a lot in my tenure. So in that, I have been doing a lot. I have picked up different devices and different technology that, based on what I'm doing now, I am not necessarily using them. And as I said, if you're online, if you're watching, feel free to drop a comment. Feel free to ask a question, because if you ask a question, I'll see the question on the computer, and I can put the question on screen and I can respond to it. Now, let's talk about mics, because right now, as it is, I have the Rode NTG2. So this was one of the mic. It's a shotgun mic. I pick up this shotgun mic to basically do stuff like when you're using a mic and you don't necessarily want a mic in the screen, you could use a mic like this, like a shotgun mic. But I find it that while it gives you good audio, it's much better to have the mic closer to your mouth. And that's the reason why you're seeing my SM7B, which I have been using more than the Rode NTG. I also have the Rode Video Mic Pro, so I usually use this mic on my camera. Like, for instance, the camera that you're watching me on, which is my Sony A7 III, and I also have a secondary camera that you're seeing my top-down or off-to-the-side view, which is the A7R III, I think. And I normally use this mic on the camera to capture audio when I'm doing like travel photography or travel videography. But I haven't been doing a lot of stuff like that. I haven't been doing a lot of vlogging or anything like that. So this mic probably haven't been used for maybe a year or so. I just haven't been using this mic. The same thing with the mouse. So this mouse, the G, I think it's a Logitech. Yeah, Logitech G604. Let me bring it closer so you can see the mouse that I'm talking about. Closer. I'm always going wide or tight. T. So the Logitech G604, sorry. It's an amazing mouse. It actually has 6 keys on the side that you can program to for almost any function that you want. It is highly programmable. One of my friends recommended this mouse to me. And as I said, I haven't really been using this mouse. I've been using my MX Master 3 mostly because I am not necessarily because again, of the Stream Deck, I don't necessarily need to program these keys. Mind you, it's probably easier to just have one hand and have some keys programmed that you can just use to do certain things, especially in Photoshop or in Lightroom, After Effects, all of these programs. But I am mostly using the Stream Decks for my programmed keys. The drone. So let's talk about this now. So this is a DJI Mavic 2 Pro or Mavic Pro 2. And I haven't flown this drone in probably like about 2 years. And if something haven't been used for 2 years or a year and a half, it's more or less in the graveyard, right? More or less in the graveyard. So, because, again, I haven't been doing a lot of drone stuff. I usually do drone work. Persons hire me to fly drone and stuff like that. But I haven't been doing a lot of that. And for that reason, the drone is in the graveyard. I haven't taken out the drone to fly just for pleasure or just to look at landscape or anything like that. I never usually do that. So I guess because I wasn't doing that before. It feels weird to now just take the drone and use it more in a recreational way. But it is not dead, it's still working. I'm sure that if I charge up the batteries and get them to, the right charge and actually turn it on, it should work. It was giving some issues in the, you know, end when I was, flying it, mean that I think one of the sensors on it that deals with the tracking or something like that, it's not working. But for the most part, the drone flies. I can use the drone and capture content, aerial content. That's why persons have drone. But maybe by the time I get back around to a drone, there have DJI has released so many drones since this release. Maybe by the time I get back around to a drone, I might want a smaller, more easy, more portable drone to use. And again, that's what put these things in the graveyard. Some of these things can be sold. Most of the times, I end up not sell them, especially if I use my money and purchase it. It's kind of hard to purchase something for $3,000 and then end up selling for $500. Mind you recoup some of your money, but for the most part, it's very difficult to do that. But yeah, this happened. Tell me in the comments. Tell me when you watch this video, which device. Some persons have cell phone in the graveyard. Some persons have, other devices in the graveyard. Tell me about your devices that you have in your graveyard. And I have some more devices. I just don't have them on screen. I just wanted to talk about the graveyard and how tech and why tech sometimes end up in the graveyard. As I said, I believe that most of the time when tech end up in the graveyard, it end up in the graveyard for two reasons. It's either you have a new device that cannibalize or kill the other devices, mean that this new device, can be used to do what the other devices basically was doing. So you focus more on the new device and then you forget the old device. Or you're not in that area or you're not doing that type of work anymore. And because of that, that device is just not being used, which is why some of these devices are not being used. And when you're a techie, like myself, sometimes you just like new stuff. You just like new stuff. You just buy new stuff. The new stuff comes out and you buy it. You know what I mean? I have my MacBook Pro, which is giving some problem. I think I have some battery issue that I need to solve. But even though it's giving some problems and it have some battery issue, it have a battery issue, because I have the Mac Studio and I'm not doing, as I said, a lot of traveling and stuff like that where I need a laptop on the road, I am more reluctant to go and get the laptop fixed because I have a computer that I can use every day. And these are the reasons why devices, technology, or whatever end up in the graveyard. Some persons throw them out, some persons donate them, some persons pass them on, some persons owe them, like what I am doing. But yeah, that's how I believe these things end up in the graveyard. And as I said, comment, let me know. Tell me how your devices end up in the graveyard. Tell me the devices that you have in your graveyard. Whether it's technology like this, because I can say, because of the type of work that I used to do and I do, I have a lot of audio equipment, drones, camera stuff. I even have a couple of GoPro Hero 7s that are more or less in the graveyard. I haven't used them in a while, but I'll not rant anymore or talk about the graveyard anymore. If you're watching this video, tell me the devices that you have in your graveyard and feel free to subscribe. I'll be doing a lot of live videos, and the reason why, again, I am doing these live videos is so that we can interact. I haven't really seen any comments or anything. I don't even know if anybody's watching. Maybe I have a 1 viewer or 2 viewer, I don't know. But the reason why I'm doing these live videos, when the channel gets to a certain point, I can have interaction. We could be talking about what we have in our graveyard live as opposed to just in the comments. Well, thanks for watching. I'm Shango.